Hello YouTubers, what we are going to do today is we are going to make a sublimated tumbler. Be warned, they're really addictive and you'll want a tumbler for like every occasion. So I'm going to show you what you need. We're going to go over some design basics, how you can design your own little tumbler, and then we'll make one. So let me go show you what you need. Alright, so you will need a standard sublimation tumbler. I got this tumbler off of Etsy. Highly recommend getting blanks off Etsy. A lot of the sublimation places make you buy like just a ginormous quantity of them. Etsy, you can go buy like, I bought 5 of these tumblers. So I highly recommend that. Be very careful if you buy off Amazon. A lot of the tumblers up there are not sublimation tumblers, so be very, very careful. This has to be coated for the sublimation to work. Therefore, tumblers like at Michael's and things like that will not work. So the reason I like the 20-ounce tumblers, the straight tumblers specifically, is that they're easier to tape. They're easier to design for as well. This can be done on a standard sheet of paper. Anybody can make a design for it. It's just a box and you can design away on them. So I'm a big fan of these 20-ounce tumblers. So you need a tumbler. And I've been wiping them down with alcohol to get any of the fingerprints off, to make a better adherence. You can also use Windex. Heat tape. You will need some heat tape. I finally bought a dispenser. Isn't it cute? Now, this is the same heat tape I've always used. I bought it randomly off Amazon when I first started sublimating. Now, I've never had a problem with it leaving marks. I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. So, double check that the heat tape you have, if you're leaving marks, is set to be as high as sublimation temperatures require, because some heat tapes out there are meant for like HTV, and so they don't, they're going to leave marks when they get 400 plus degrees. Also, try Cricut's heat tape. I haven't seen anybody complaining about that one leaving marks. It's like light blue. So you will need some kind of heat tape. You will also, I'm going to use the sleeves today. And I found these at my local vinyl shop. They're clear. I really, really like them, so that when you wrap your tumbler, you can actually still see the paper underneath, so you can kind of see what it's doing. And then I'm just using the standard heat gun from embossing to shrink these down. The reason I'm not using the big heat gun is you can put holes in these pretty easy. So I like the little embossing ones because they're not nearly as powerful. Now, for designing, highly recommend, this is a cheap tablecloth, this white is, that I bought when I first started sublimating. Highly recommend printing it out and sticking it on this polyester first before you put it on a tumbler. Tumblers are expensive, and if you screw up, there is no unscrew button. So highly recommend this, and I like this trick for almost anything for sublimation, because the colors on the screen aren't going to match reality, and this is just a cheap way to see what it looks like. The other thing to note is, so this is this design. You can see how muted this color is from here. So you can see how much just muted these colors are from here. So keep that in mind when you design something, that it's going to be more muted on this tumbler than it is on your fabric. But one thing I really liked is, this is the one we're going to do today, but this was my first one, and see how some of the colors aren't they're not really noticeable. So I redid it and made some of my lines fatter, and then just changed all the colors. So that's one reason I really, really like printing them out first. Also, when you are first getting started, don't do a black tumbler. Black is probably one of the hardest colors to get to do right. So this is pink, and it did pretty well. I messed this up. But this black one, I ended up burning it. You can see. So if you get a tumbler, and it's black, and it didn't turn out quite right, if it's brown, it means you burned it. It's too hot. And if it's green, like a greeny black, then that means that it is not cooked enough. But it's too close to the to the heat in the convection oven, and so that's why I have my burn marks up here, and see down here looks good. But I would wait and do just a couple more kind of standard tumblers, just kind of normal colors, before trying like an all black one. Just kind of middle of the road colors. Anything really saturated is going to be a little bit harder. I would also stick to kind of more like no lines that you have to line up. Just kind of keep it simple when you're first starting out. When you do a handful, you can do more challenging designs. When you're first starting out, middle of the road colors, also no lines. Glitter works really well because it's all kind of scattered and you don't really know, you won't really notice if you mess up. So, all right, let me go show you my little convection oven real quick. All right, so this is my convection oven. It's a Hamilton Beach. The reason I liked it is because you can stick a whole tumbler in here. You don't have to lay it down. You can stick it straight up and down. I did put, this is a leftover piece of ceramic tile from my bathroom. The reason I did that is because the plastic from the sleeves can get stuck. So now it's stuck to the ceramic and not to my actual little tray here. And then I have a little temperature thing here. I really do recommend them. I kind of dragged my feet. I didn't want to buy one, to be honest, because it just seems like a pain. But when I first got this, $350 was more like was more than $350. It's calmed down a little bit now that I've used it more, but when I first started, it was definitely $350 was more than $350. Also, if you leave it on longer, $350 is more than $350. If it's not as long, it's less. So I do really recommend one of these. I got this guy from Walmart. I found if you, and I'll leave the link to where you can get it on Amazon, but it was $25 cheaper if I actually went to my Walmart and picked it up versus trying to order it off Amazon. So double check your prices, and I'll leave the link to where you can get it all from Amazon. But and then it's set for convection and $350-ish is what I've been doing it. And then this is another piece of larger ceramic tile. That's what I've been putting my cup on when I get it out, so that I have somewhere heat safe to put it. Also keep in mind, everything around this gets really hot, so it's against the wall right now, but I'll pull it out when we actually make a tumbler. Don't put a bunch of stuff around it because it does get really hot, like all the way around this little guy. So keep that in mind, and don't put it like right against the wall because it'll probably melt your paint off eventually. So keep that in mind. Let's go print a comp. All right, so in an effort to keep this video not 8,000 miles long, I'm not going to go into too much detail on designing tumblers. Know that you totally can. There's a lot out there to do it, and you can design these in any program, Silhouette, Inkspace, any of them. So this is that trig tumbler. I'm a math tutor in my other life, so this trig tumbler made my day. Anywho, I drew this entirely in Procreate. It's the app for your iPad. Totally drew this. It's all my handwriting. Totally drew it. I made it the right size, so it's 7.9 or 7.9 by 9.3. I did that in Procreate and then drew whatever it is I wanted to. There are a million wonderful channels on Procreate out there. So that's what I did for this one. And then these are the two. This is my new font that I love. It was a pain to make, so I've been putting it on everything. It's called Hibiscus. I'll leave a link down below. And this is the monogram of it, and then this is just it typed out. And so for this one, I put an offset around it and then put my regular color in it, and that's how I got this like outline look. And then all of these doodles are included in the font. So this whole design was made entirely using that font. The doxies are not included, they're just mine. So any doodly font, totally do. The glitter papers, all of that, you can put into these designs. They're really easy because basically they're a rectangle. And for my cup, I've been doing, so I've been doing 9.3 wide and then 7.9 tall. Also, something else to show you for this one right here, I just put a bunch of lines, and that's how I got it all straight. I took some inspiration from Louis Vuitton pattern. So, but you can do all sorts of stuff. I also made the line point heavier on these guys. You can do this in silhouette too, to make them stand out a little bit more against the color. So there's all sorts of tricks. If you want a longer, yappier video about designing, please let me know. I don't want to make this video too long. But from there, I go to the print manager. And the print manager, we need to mirror it. This is a standard sheet of paper because it is a 20-ounce tumbler. So metal, and then I have T-Rex paper, and which is not T-Rex, but I call it that. And print away. I have a Sawgrass printer, so I print through this print manager, and we'll print it, and then we'll go wrap it. All right. So this is my printed out paper. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to cut off all of the white. This is a quilting ruler and rotary cutter. Just be careful with the fingers. We had a little accident with mine, but you cut off all the white. Now I left a little skosh of white over here, so when we wrap this side will be down and this side will be over, to make sure we don't have a white gap because it's not long enough. But you do want to make sure that this side is completely cut off and it's clean. All right, so I wipe my tumbler off. So attempt not to totally mingle it with your hands, and we're going to wrap it. Okay, so this was my white side. This is the side that's going to go down. And you do need to make sure that you are, this needs to be pulled really, really tight. Anywhere that it is not pulled tight, you will have, you will have issues. Now tape from the direction that you're pulling. So this is my overlapping one, and I want to tape from here this way. Now, I probably overdo it on the tape, but tumblers are expensive. You screw it up, there's no unscrew button. It's a garbage can. So I tape down my middle seam here, and then I tape both top and bottom. Now one trick with this, because obviously it's round, is to take your tape and to pull it, because when it pulls it gets a little wrinkly, and that will help it lay flat. Alright, so that is it all taped up. So I tape pulling the center seam, and I tape multiple times across pulling, and then I tape both top and bottom. With the plastic sleeve it may be a little bit much, but better safe than screwed up cup. So next thing up is I put up the plastic sleeve over this, using this as a heat gun. It's the little ones for embossing. I have a bigger heat gun, but these will totally melt on you. So that's why I'm using this one. It's not as powerful as the other one. And then we're over here at my heat press just because the Teflon pillow can get hot. Now these are actually closed at the bottom, so you just pop it open. The other thing is it has a perforated sleeve, but I've never actually managed to pull it off that way. Normally this really adheres to the paper. So also, if you want to do, say I just want to do a little design right here, you still need to wrap the entire thing in paper, because if you do paper and a sleeve and don't paper the whole thing, you run the risk of this plastic sticking to your tumbler. So highly recommend covering this entirely, even if you don't have a design all the way. Now when I go to start heating this up, it is going to look like a hot mess for a minute, so keep that in mind. It will eventually calm down and start circling, but when you first do it, it does look like a mess. I also turned on my little convection oven to 350. Alright, so in the most perfect of worlds, you want this all completely flat. However, a wrinkle is better than a hole. I did put a hole in here. It's not hard to do, so we'll see what it looks like. But you do want it pretty tight, no loose, and You don't want to be able to move this around at all. And you want as few wrinkles as you can get. And then because my little oven is tall, I can put this standing up. But so you're going to want to make sure that it's relatively flat on the bottom, because I can stand mine up in that little oven. So we're going to hit that real quick. And that way it's flat so it can stand up in my oven. Alright, so when I take it out of the oven, I like to put it on. This is a ceramic tile that was left over from my bathroom. I like to put it out here and then take it off with my hands. Now, realistically, you should have some kind of heat gloves, but I haven't gotten there. I did find these at Dollar Tree. They're silicone, so you can grab it. I've just been using a towel, a flour sack towel, to grab it out of the little oven, which probably you shouldn't do, but you know, whatever. So we are waiting for the oven to heat up. All right, so this is my little oven. It's set for convection, and it's set at 350. I don't know if y'all can actually make out the timer, or the temperature, but it's actually over 350 right now. So probably when I open it, it'll drop some. But I'm gonna put my cup in here on my ceramic tile. I like to put these in here for 6 to 7 minutes, and what I like to look for, because these are clear wraps, is my design to come through. So once you're able to see it, that's when I like to start worrying about pulling it out. So it's like 6 to 7 minutes, kind of based on what this looks like. And then I just use my timer on normally my phone, but since y'all are on my phone, we're gonna use my iPad. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but when you first put it in here, it makes these pingy, creepy, pingy noises. It's fine. Every single one I've done has done that. It's just a bit creepy to start, to be honest. Sorry, this is my iPad with my phone being my flashlight, because you can't see otherwise. But as the design starts to bake, you can see more and more of it come through. Like there's a little flamingo at the top. You can start to see the flower in my name. So that's what you're looking for if you have the clear wraps. All right, so hopefully y'all can see now what I was talking about. See the designs coming through the paper? That's what you're looking for, okay? Now you're just going to, as fast as you can, get this off, because your sublimation is going to continue to cook as long as it's wrapped in heat. Also, there is a bit of a smell. Don't be alarmed. That's normal too for sublimation. Alrighty, so there is our cup. Pretty cool, right? These are so addictive. Now, with every cup I've done so far, if you want to sit there and nitpick it, you absolutely can. This one, if you look right here, the color is a little off because that's where our hole was. But I think they turn out really cool, and I absolutely adore these. And the cool thing is you can personalize these. When I was a kid, I worked at a music store, and I worked in the shop and we cleaned instruments, and you can get white marks off cases with Lysol. And so this is she was my boss at the center when I was there. But, you know, and I put her name on it, and it's a really personalized little gift, along with, obviously, my trig tumbler. So I adore this. I think that's really, really cool. Also, they say you can do mugs in this, in the oven too, but keep in mind they're gonna have different times and temperatures because this is ceramic and this is metal. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I will do my best to answer it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.